I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. And welcome back. Hello, Paris Dunbar. Good afternoon, the lovely Lolita. Shout out to Eugene. Thanks for coming back. Okay, so we're gonna try. I want to get back into this thing again. All right. So I got the K9 son back. We both got fresh cuts. Yeah. Yeah, I did a part one earlier today, but I only was able to do about 30 minutes before I had to take my dog to the groomer. But I want to talk about it a little bit more. Um, so I'm going to share my screen, and it's interesting because this lady, it's something when it's made national news. Okay. When it's made national news, it's a trip. It's a trip. So let me go ahead and pull this up. And then we're going to talk about it because again, let me offer my disclaimer real quick. I don't profess to be a dating expert. I don't profess to be a psychologist, psychiatrist, uh, nothing other than a middle-aged or advanced age, mature age woman who's been around and done some things. But this here, oh yeah, we about to get into it because this is straight bananas. Okay. So as I play this, put a one in the chat if you can hear it. I'm about to play it and hopefully you can hear it.
A court case near Detroit sounds like a romantic comedy gone wrong.
Yeah, a woman sues a man for thousands of dollars after he stood her up on a date. Fox's Jessica Dupnack has the details.
I feel for the defendant. I mean, like I said, he should have swiped left.
Too late now for Richard Jordan, who's being sued for $10,000 after he allegedly didn't show up for a date with Kashante Short back in 2020 in Flint. She says he caused emotional distress because the date fell on her late mom's birthday.
Mr. Jordan, let me just ask you this. Are you planning to...
Okay, stop right there. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Oh my gosh. Gentlemen, if you are on a date or reaching out to someone by the name of Kashante, you might want to reconsider that. Did y'all just hear what I said? Put a one in the chat if you heard what I said. Because I thought I may have froze. So if you heard what I said, put a one in the chat. Okay, so again, first thing, Kashante. Now, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I got to go off on a slight tangent. When I was pregnant with my daughter 28 years ago, and I was considering names, one of the things that I had to consider was when she got older, going into college, going into jobs, how would that affect her? I had to think about that. So I wanted a name that had meaning, understand me, but I wasn't going to make up some stuff because, again, I had the foresight to know down the road that may be a hindrance in some areas. What do you mean by that, TJ? I'm glad you asked. My son-in-law, I love him. His name is Kevondrick. Okay? Kevondrick. Not to slide my lovely sister mother-in-law, but because I'm an HR specialist and having sat on promotion boards in the military, having seen files come across my desk and to see how certain things were scrutinized and to see how certain things were, I could consider discriminatory, but you couldn't prove it. Names had something to do with it. So when my son-in-law, they hadn't gotten married at the time, but he was looking for jobs. as a human resources specialist and I redid his resume, I said, you might want to consider this. So we changed his name to Kevon. Or if someone was looking at it, they just thought it meant Kevin. And is it right? No. Does it happen? Yes. Because he had been applying for jobs using his full name and had not got the bites. Same credentials, same experience, but we changed his name. Just instead of for Kevondrick, we just put Kevon. Yeah. Even in the military, there were several women who had names as unique as this woman here. But for promotion purposes, they changed their name to like Sean or went by their middle name or something like that. Is it right? No. Does it happen? Yes. I'm just going to keep it 1,000 with you. Let's continue.
Represent yourself on this.
To be honest with you, sir, I thought this was just going to be thrown out. We had a date, one date, and nothing else after that. And now I'm being sued for $10,000.
Todd, you've been doing this a minute. Ever seen anything like this?
If I've seen something like this, I've seen someone go to jail.
Defense attorney Todd Perkins, who wasn't in on this hearing, but says the judge has the patience of a saint as Ms. Short tried schooling him on everything during this recent Zoom hearing.
Do not insult my intelligence as if I do not understand what the word perjury means.
Be quiet while
Okay, I got to stop right there. Do we see the wig? Y'all know I'm about a wig. No hate on the wig. Do you see the wig? Do you see the edges coming underneath the wig? Do you see wearing the lens-less glasses, the frames? Do you see this? Are we mature adults here? Do you see the arguing here? Don't insult my intelligence. Again, this could have gone so much better if she just would have been, you know what, Your Honor? I'm sorry, I didn't know. Thank you for, pointing me in the right direction, Your Honor. But anyway, continue.
I'm talking. You need to be quiet. Can you mute her, please?
Like several other of Ms. Short's bizarre lawsuits, this one too got booted from district court.
Did you hear him say several other lawsuits? Several?
And as for the alleged bad date guy,
Our hearts go out to him. I think he's going to get some good dates off of his patience in dealing with this. So, maybe he could use a bad moment for some good.
reporting in Flint, Jessica Dupnack, Fox News.
A court case near Detroit sounds like a...
So that's that one. Questions, comments? Questions, comments thus far. I'm coming to you because this, in addition to what we're going to look at about TD Jake Strag, I hate to say it. It is, I'm not going to say Strag, but y'all already heard me say FLEA-MALE. 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 Because behavior like this makes me itch. FLEA-MALE. So what does that mean for you all, men and women? When we're talking about vetting, even to get ready for a first date, what does a preparation look like for you to even get to know somebody before you even decide to go out on a date with them? What does that look like for you? If I have any men in the audience that are dating or in the dating market, tell me, if you will, put in the chat, what do you do when you meet someone online? Yes. Yes. When you meet someone online, you think, okay, she cute, she got a body, so I'm gonna send her a message. What does the initial interaction look like for you when you decide that you want to reach out to someone and you are maybe venturing on a first date? While you're thinking about that, we're gonna look at another video because I understand Bishop Jakes has been getting drugged. So let's look at, FLEA-MALEs, straight up, because behavior like that makes me itch. You understand? Anybody been bit by fleas? so this was on somebody's TikTok. So fair use. Okay, let me look at this here. FLEA-MALE can also mean to flee from. I like it. Exit stage right. I like it. So let's check out TD Jakes here. Because that's done got some frustrations. Sorry about that. Let's go.
This breaks all sociological orders of the culture we're living in now. Because we are raising up women to be men. And you are not applauded for your femininity.
Stop right there. This is true. And I'll use it for my, I won't talk about any other women. I'll talk about me. Going into the military and even being in the federal government, senior level, management level federal government. I remember distinctly being in a situation that I was, trying to convey my point very deliberately. And at one point, I had to file a suit. Okay. And in the write-up, when you can look at the statements from other people, it was interesting when they described me. They described me as angry. They described me as she seems angry all the time, even the way she walks down the hall with her jaws tight. I'm like, what the? I was incredulous. But several of the statements, now one, okay, again, preponderance of the evidence. But when I read the statements of how some of these people looked at me, most of them were not Black, how they described me was not feminine. It was very aggressive. And these are the words they use: aggressive. She seems like she's angry all the time. The way she walks down the hall. I didn't know you could walk down the hall a certain way. But you would have my counterpart that was not Black do the exact same thing, but they would not be described in the exact same way. Is it fair? No. Is it right? No. Does it happen? Yes. So, but also I had to look over the course of my career in various aspects. Did I contribute to that stereotype in certain ways? Sure did. Because I was not going to be punked. But the difference is not being punked as a Black woman looks considerably different than not being punked as somebody else. I'm just saying what it is. Let me look at some comments here. As I said earlier, The funny thing is that most Black pastors have been pandering to women, so I can imagine how triggered they are towards TD Jakes, who also have been doing some pandering to women. Absolutely. And what should have happened, we should have learned how to temper that, like I know now. But we didn't. Let's continue.
You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you're climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families.
I think, I don't know if it was on, it was not on my channel, but it was maybe Black Man's. There was another woman that was on the panel with me. We were both prior military. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, sweetheart. Genuine love and support. Thank you. You know what? I truly appreciate you. And you know what? The fact that we don't always agree means that people can think for themselves. You understand me? And that's all right. that's all right. Because y'all know I didn't always agree with everything that Kevin Samuel said. But there's some things I did. So, I forgot what I was saying. See, Big Bad Bull, you threw me off with the super chat. You threw me off. Thank you. Thank you. But we do get applauded for being aggressive. We do be applauded, well, not really applauded. We get, that's how we are described. And we didn't know to what detriment it would be. Because I can distinctly remember being, again, in uniform. I'm in a male-dominated military. And at the time, I'm the only woman in leadership. And so, I remember what I was saying. I was on the panel, and there was a lady who was on the panel with me who was also in the military. And she talked about how there was a lady in the military who was feminine, who was soft-spoken. And what would happen? They run right over. They run right over her. And when we consider the fact that most industries are male dominated, how are you going to compete in those areas? But like I said, what we have to be mindful of is that you can have the same two women, the same qualifications, the same experience, the same education, one Black, one non-Black. They handle the situation the exact same way. How it is described, how the Black woman's behavior is described is going to be one way, and how the non-Black woman's behavior is going to be described a different way. And it's not going to be flattering for me. Is it right? No. Does it happen? Yes. But what are we doing to contribute to it? I got another example for you. Again, when I was in the military, like I said, when I was in the military, I was, and not just in the military, even in just regular life. When I felt, I kind of like what this lady said, well, are we done here? I remember being in a meeting and the man was trying to dominate over the conversation. We were peers. But again, I'm not going to let you punk me. So I said, I'm not done yet. But what happens is when you take that behavior from the boardroom into the bedroom. Let's continue. Let's continue.
I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house. But until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away. Oh, y'all.
Let the church say amen. Okay, so Eugene, you make a good point. There was some pandering going on because I remember, I think it was O'Shea Duke Jackson talked about these conferences that TD Jakes used to have called Woman Thou Art Loose. And I have a couple of those books myself. And there were these conferences, and I think they're tantamount to women empowerment conferences. And what we were doing consciously or subconsciously, maybe the overall idea was to try to help us to become more self-sufficient, but somehow in the messaging, we turned self-sufficiency into independency and not interdependency with men. Ergo, the idea of, I don't need a man. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. And like I said earlier, when I would go to these conferences and all this kind of stuff, and I would have this list of what, because we were encouraged to write it out, make it plain of the things that we wanted for our lives and our relationships, but never considering the fact that men had lists too. And how to combine the list to make a match. So now, like I said earlier, also, I love being a woman. I love being a Black woman. But we can be mean as hell. Because we're mean to each other. I can say it for a fact. I used to be like that. Yeah, we can be mean because we're mean to each other. Somebody said earlier, so the judge can't talk to us, the pastors can't talk to us. Who can't talk to us? Nobody. And I say that because, like I said earlier, you got the Moniques, regardless of her faults or whatever you want to talk about. When she talked about the violence, she was spot on. You got the Tashina Arnolds talking about what can we do to lessen the emasculation of our men. I asked him questions. She got drugged. You got women in these spaces who try to offer sage counsel based on, life experiences and lessons learned, and they get drugged. So, and it's always, well, the men are doing this. Okay, that's fine. We can talk about that. But we're talking about women right now. We're talking about women right now. And can we own that part of it? Forget about what they're doing. Can we talk about women right now? Can we talk about the fact that we are mean? Can we talk about that we are boisterous? Can we talk about the fact that we've created, how can I put this? We created the misery that we find ourselves in. And you may say, well, Terry, speak for yourself. I am speaking for myself. I am speaking for myself. Yeah, I am speaking for myself because, like TD Jake said, I had the job, I had the education, I had the coinage, I had my own house. I could get a man, couldn't keep one. Could get a man, couldn't pick a good one. Wouldn't recognize a good one. Then when I had a good one, I want to be their mama. Didn't think I was being their mama, but that's basically what it was coming down to. No, And like I said, we mean, but you better not tell us we mean. Because if we mean, there's a reason for it. Okay. It may be a reason, but it ain't an excuse. I learned that too in my career, military and civilian career, because when dealing with people who have mental health issues, I'm one. Mental health issues may be a contributing factor or reason for certain behavior, but it can't be the excuse for it. Because you still got to pay the price for your behavior. your conduct. And outside of the work environment, the price may be singleness. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. But this female or this FLEA-MALE, she was out of order. Oh, let me go ahead and say one more again. Iyanla Vanzant. You know she loves women. She done been about trying to help us. You know, she's transparent, talked about her own challenges. Women don't want to hear ish. They came for her. Came for Rebecca Lynn Pope. I don't know her, but I just heard about her since I've been on YouTube. Came for April Mason. How is it that everybody is wrong about us? How is that? And here's one of the problems. Of course, we know it ain't everybody, but it's far too many of us. Far too many. And then you have the behavior, the highlighting of the bad behavior that has people, that when I'm in a workforce, having people describe me in that manner because of what is being broadcast or what is being highlighted. So when I express my opinion, just like my counterpart, because of the high profiling of the bad actors, everybody is painted with the same brush. They absolutely did. And she talked about how they were showing up at her house. I wish somebody would show up at mine. I tell you, I got one in every room. I live in Texas. And I'm proficient. But yeah, they wore her out. And the thing that I don't understand is that how come we can't be a part of the sisterhood and still call out what's wrong? How come that is turning it back on the sisterhood? Because again, I heard there was a YouTuber who I've had some disagreements with as of late. They were talking about friendships, and they're talking about, I guess they were talking about a lady that was kind of obese or whatever, and would you tell your friend, or would you feed into the delusion? I came from a background where we could be honest with our friends, even if they didn't like it. Because we cared about them, we would tell them what it was. Now, what they chose to do with it was up to them. And I'm one of them. Because many of my friends tried to talk a lot of sense into me in various areas of my life. I played like I was listening and did what I wanted to anyway. But they always told me. They always told me. They always told me. It was never a situation, oh, you just hating. Never that. They always told me what it was. They always tried to correct my behavior out of love if I was doing something stupid. Did I always listen? No. But they always told me, you can't even tell nobody now. Even somebody you're supposed to be just down with, you can't even tell them. Because, oh, you just hating, or you're body shaming, or you're this. How come it can't be that I love you and I don't want you to end up messed up? How come it can't be that? So I go back to what I said before with this young man on the date. I feel sorry for him. But like the attorney said, he'll probably get some good dates now. Because who wants to deal with that? So I asked y'all a question earlier. When it comes for anybody who's in the dating market, and if you happen to be on dating sites or however you meet people to date, what is your preparation before you have that first date? What do you do? And I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link if anybody wants to share their, personal experiences about what, if what they do or what do they know some of their friends or family do to prepare to see even if it's worthwhile to go out on the first date. So some Black women admission of wrong expose inadequacies, and because of pride, insecurities, and narcissism, some women won't. It's absolutely true. But what does that get you? By yourself. My 3 besties and I always. I mean, God rest her soul, one of my closest friends, she would say to me, I know you're going to be mad, but you need to hear this. She would always say that I know you're going to be mad, but you need to hear this. And I would be mad. Wouldn't talk to her for a couple of days, but then I'd be talking again. Because I knew she cared about me. Absolutely. Make sure your mind is right. My mind cannot be okay. A man with a toxic mind will bring toxicity into and women too. Because again, I done told y'all about the man I had dated before, Mr. Randolph. There was toxicity on his end, but because I was also in a toxic place myself, that was combustible. And it resulted in violence in the end. But let's go back to TD. I know I'm all over the place, but TD Jakes talked about, let me go ahead and rewind this part really quickly, because this is key. Shout out to Beyonce, Destiny's Child. And I sang that I sang that independent song. All my women are independent. The shoes on my feet, I bought it. The clothes I'm wearing, I bought it. I sang it. I showed it singing, but didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I was pushing folk away, because even though I was singing the song, my attitude was representative of the song. I just thought, I bought it. Okay. What? Heavens to Betsy. I'm not a Beyonce fan anymore. I used to be, shall I say, Destiny's Child and early Beyonce. I don't even know most of her songs, but I'm talking about back. I bought it. Charlie, all the women independent. Yeah. So let me go back to this TD Jakes piece real quick, because this is key. This is really key. And I want to talk about this for a spell, because this is a reframing of the mind.
Coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me go back.
I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away.
You show right, and that's what I'm singing, right? That part right here, for real. So let's talk about that for a minute. Uh-oh, wrong one. TD Jakes, like I said, it may be too much, too little, too late for my old heads, for Denise Williams and Johnny Mathis, the song Too Much, Too Little, Too Late. Because we are at a place now, particularly if you are 35 and up, definitely if you're 45 and 40 and up, women, chances are you have all this stuff. Car, house, 401k, savings, all this kind of trips. You can do it all yourself, because you've been doing it. How do you incorporate a man into that? How do you incorporate a man into that? Yes. Anybody got, how do you incorporate a man into that? Because again, he said, I'm tired of you telling me how much you don't need me and then wonder why I shut down. And here's the thing that we may not even consider is off-putting. The relationship I had a few years back, I was still in Virginia. We dated for four or five something years. And I remember every year, the guy I was dating, he had a problem figuring out what to buy for me for Mother's Day or birthday or something like that. And I remember myself saying often that I never really tell people what I want for my birthday because I don't want to put that kind of pressure on them, because I felt like if I want it bad enough, I'll just buy it myself. I thought that was taking the pressure off of someone to not figure out, what they got me may not be to my liking. I thought it was taking the pressure off of them because I said, if I want something bad enough, I'll buy it myself. Never considering the fact that may have been off-putting for my man or somebody who was pursuing me, because said, well, and then when I finally asked the young man that I was dating, I said, well, why do you seem to have a hard time buying something for me for Mother's Day or for my birthday? Because I remember you telling me about what you do for your ex-wife for Mother's Day and this, that, and the other. He says, well, it was easy to buy stuff for her because she didn't have anything. So everything I would have got for her, it would have been, new, but you have everything. So I said, but I don't have everything from you. So what I had to realize, even though I thought I was saying something that would be taking the pressure off my guy, it was basically sending him a message that I don't need you, because if I want it bad enough, I'll get it myself. And it was innocent. But we won't even talk about what's not innocent. I'll buy my own car. Or I don't need you to take me on a trip. I'm gonna go on the trip. I'll pay for it myself. I did it. And again, not intentionally being verbose or, condescending, but I'm not a man, so I wouldn't process it the way a man would process it. Now, there was one lady who was really reacting to TD Jakes, and I don't know the video, but she says, so we as Black women, we're supposed to dull our shine for a man. We're supposed to do this for a man. Why does it have to be dulling your shine? Why does it have to be that? And I'm like, he didn't say that. And how did you get dulling your shine out of that? What I got out of it is we can back away some. Because I'm going to tell you something, and I want y'all to hear me. I will never, ever forget. My mom, I think it was after I had my daughter. But again, my mother raised me and my sister primarily as a single mother. And I remember her telling me at one point, I would love to be able to be soft. I would love to be soft. I don't have that opportunity to be soft because I have to do this and I have to do that. And now I may be too old to be soft. But I would have loved to be soft. I didn't get that. I really didn't get that at the time because, again, I'm on my trajectory of my career, being a mom, not getting a correlation between the two. Then fast forward to my daughter, maybe middle school, high school, and I heard myself saying almost the same thing. I'm tired of doing everything. I remember myself saying, just because I can do everything in the sense of house, car, job, I don't want to. But I had taken on that for myself for so many years until it wore me freaking out. And then I understood what my mother was saying. Basically, she was saying to me, about 20 years ago, she would have loved just to be able to lay back and bask in the femininity that we're talking about and knowing that her man has it. I get that now. Let me look at a couple of comments here. What man do you know does it? Exactly. Men want to do things. They do. Why not allow them to take away? And again, what we have to understand, that's not weakness. It's strength. And I'm saying that because I did not believe it to be so. I have the lovely Lolita coming to the stage. What's up, young lady?
Hey, young lady.
How are you?
I'm kind of so. I wanted to hello everybody in the chat and everybody listening from the clouds, because I know there's always people listening in the clouds that don't always comment, which is I do that myself at times. But what I wanted to say was that when it comes to as women, I noticed that for one, I had two daughters by two Pookies, and I raised them basically on my own. My oldest, they both have my oldest daughter. Her daddy got out of prison when my baby was when Makiba, who's deceased, when Makiba was a newborn, and Ray tried to win me back for 2 years, and I hated him at that time, so I didn't want him. But the thing is that I knew what he was doing, and then when it came to an end. And because I knew what he was doing, but I was like, I hated him, and it's like, I don't want you. But the Zachary definitely was no better. But the thing was that my ex-fiance, he helped my girls more than either one of their fathers ever did. When Ray was playing daddy, he would come up to Bakersfield, get her, keep her for a few days. He would come on weekends, but see, Ray was he was a Venice Shoreline, and he was Raybone. That was his nickname, and he was known for knocking out Negroes and I lived in Culver City then in the projects, and back then a lot of people didn't know there were projects in Culver City, which I didn't either until I had to move into them, and I hated that place. But I did, recognize that I did have a lot of good memories there. I met my soulmate there, and I've been in love with him since I was 15, and he was 14, and we're born exactly a year apart. And but the thing is that with me, one thing I will say is that I hated being a single parent. The stress was enormous. And even when I was with my ex-fiance Johnny, there was it was a tug of war at first, because I was so used to doing everything on my own. Because when I was with Makiba's daddy, he was irresponsible. I took care of all the bills. I took care of everything, and it was a tug of war, because he wanted me to let him take care of things. But I was like, no, because I was paranoid. It's like, I was always used to taking care of everything myself. And it was a struggle. But by the time by the time when things ended up blowing up with us and our relationship ended, you know, had come to a point where I was able to allow him to, you know, take the lead and to take care of stuff. Because, you know, at one time, you know, I needed brakes on my vehicle, and he was telling me to wait, and I jumped up and went and got it done, and he was pissed off. And but I was so paranoid, and I did it like a second time when it came to tires. And but that was, you know, and a lot of women that's strong and independent is like, miss me with that, sis. If you're over here relying on Section 8 housing, if you're relying on any HUD housing, if you're relying on Cash Aid, if you're relying on child support, if you're relying on food stamps, what they call food stamps in California, they call it a link in Chicago. But either way it goes, if you're relying on any of that stuff, you are not independent. Period. And you know, and it's like, you know, but they want to wear the pants, and then they don't want to wear the pants, but they want to be in charge. And it's like, I don't want to be in charge. You know, when me and my soulmate are getting married next year, he is the king of the castle. Anything that he wants, I will give him, and I say anything.
Let me tell you something. Thank you, Lily. Let me go ahead and grow y'all to this. And nephew Truth in the house, he know about it, because you're absolutely right. And I've said this story before. Y'all know I met Mr. Randolph at 51. So again, I had been on, you know, and I divorced my daughter's father back in 2002. So we're talking about a long period of time, even though I had, you know, relationships here, relationships there. But as far as I was really single for like 18 years because I wasn't married. So, of course, doing my thing, my own way, being a mom. So I was talking to Nephew Truth about the growth that I've had in the last 5 to 6 years, because there was a time, like you, Lolita, when like we're talking about this pool I want really bad.
Oh, a pool is cool.
You know, and so when we moved into this house, because like I've been in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for 10 years, and 7 of the 10 years I've lived in a home that had a pool. Well, this home that we just moved into does not have a pool. I need a pool. I told Mr. Randolph, I said, sir, I need a pool. And he said, well, we'll get it next year. So there was a time that I would have said, okay, we'll get it next year. But in the meantime, I'm behind the scenes trying to coordinate how we can get it done now. Because like you,
I understand,
doing my thing my own way and didn't want to wait. But now it's not about whether you can do something, it's about whether you should. So what I learned, and like I think T. Shaw says, every man wants to be needed. Every man wants to feel wanted. So
exactly.
What's the point of having a conversation with Mr. Randolph and he says we're going to do it next year if I'm going to turn around and do it anyway? That's a
exactly. Exactly. And it's disrespectful, and we don't see it that way when we're in that mindset of we're so used to taking care of everything on our own, and right. We don't see it that way, but it is disrespectful. And what man doesn't want to feel needed? And it's like, I don't want, you know, Kevin, his nickname is KK, but I don't want KK to ever feel that way, that not needed. And it's like, because I need him and I love him, and I've loved him, like I said, since I was 15, and we lived our lives and went on different paths, but now we've come back together, and it's beautiful. And how often does that happen? And we have, and let me tell you, we have never kissed, we have never, we've hugged one time. And I have history with this man where all these memories and stuff, came coming back when I gave myself, my heart and my soul back to God. And it's like, and when because for years I struggled with thinking that Makiba's daddy was my soulmate, and I was like, how could he be my soulmate? And he tried to kill me, and he didn't just try to kill me, he tried to kill our daughter and my other daughter, and I struggled with that because I was in such conflict. But when I gave my heart to God, and He said, no, Zachary's not your soulmate, and He showed Kevin's face, and I'm like, KK. And then all these memories came coming back, and I'm like, oh my God, KK, because I pushed those feelings down because I grew up in a house I'm basically raised myself, but I grew up in a house where we couldn't express emotions. So I learned at a very young age to compartmentalize everything and put it in its own little box. And so, and when I felt those feelings, I was in love with Andy Gibb. Do you remember Andy Gibb?
Yes,
I was in love with Andy Gibb. Me and my best friend Elisa, because her mom and my mom were best friends. Me and my best friend Elisa, we were both in love with Andy Gibb. I thought he was the finest thing on earth until I stepped in, until I went to those projects 2 weeks before we had to move in. We went there to check them out, and I saw those buildings, and they looked ugly, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And they all looked the same. But as soon as I stepped out of that vehicle, I saw KK's fine, tall, dark-skinned self with a face of an angel, and I looked at him and I felt something, and I shoved those feelings down. But as soon as I saw him, Andy Gibb was out the window. After that, no white guy for me. I prefer dark skin. I've dated light skinned men, and I've dated some very attractive light skinned men. But every man that I've ever been in a relationship with, and I've only been in 3 relationships, they were darker than me, and I love dark skin.
Well,
there ain't nothing to me like a tall, dark skinned man, and it's just I love the contrast, and it's like, everybody got their preferences.
On a second chance, because again, I don't know how old you are, but as we get older, the chances are few and far between. So when you can get a hold of it, get a hold of it. Hey, sweet, I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down, but thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Let me look at some comments here. Absolutely. And I let Mr. Randolph know, and again, that's the beauty of living and learning. Living and learning. I tell Mr. Randolph all the time, and I'm not just saying it to blow smoke up his ass. I said, dude, I waited my whole life for you. What you need? What you want? And going back to TD Jakes, and I want you all ladies to hear me, because sometimes we don't even know we're doing it, because we're just operating on just autopilot, and it's become part of our being. When me and Mr. Randolph started dating 4 years ago, I took my first road trip with him a couple of months after we started dating. And we ended up having to get his truck broke down, and we ended up having to get a rental car. So we made reservations at the rental car place. And when we get there, we had an appointment. And when we get there, it was just crazy. Waiting, the customer service, it was just bad. So thank you, Sir Hale. So it was just bad. And again, mind you, we still getting to know each other. So he hadn't seen this part of me. And this is a part that I didn't know that I was messing up. So I'm really, again, like Lolita said, I'm used to handling stuff. I'm used to being in charge of stuff. And I would be masculine, is what you would call, because again, if I needed to get things done and I felt like somebody was trying to take advantage of me, particularly as a woman, because when you go buy cars and all this kind of stuff, you hear these stories how women get taken advantage of. So I'm forgetting the fact that I'm with the man. So I'm getting pissed because I'm about customer service. So at one point I lost it, and I said, I need to speak to the manager now. And I was getting ready to go off. And again, me and Mr. Randolph don't know each other that well then, okay? And I'm getting into character. I'm getting into character, about to rip a hole in somebody's behind. Mr. Randolph said, no, I got it. And see, I hadn't got the revelation yet, because again, it was a transition for me. But I could have blew it that quickly. Without even intending to, without even knowing that I was doing anything wrong. Because essentially what I was about to do is be the man. And again, that wasn't my place to do that. But because I had been so used to handling things, I was ready to dig in. And he said, no, and again, we're still new. We're still new. Because what could have happened if I would have kept doing stuff like that, I wouldn't have this. Because again, what man wants to deal with that? What man wants to fight? Fight for the right to lead. So I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. And again, we don't, and I'm not going to offer it as an excuse because it isn't. But there are some reasons, but we have to learn to temper it. And how can we learn to temper it if we're not even engaging with men? Well, how you learn to temper it is with the lady in the courtroom. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't know I had the wrong courtroom. What would you recommend me do, Your Honor? Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You don't do it by, are we done here? Are we done here? That's not how you do it. That's how you get in the practice of engaging with men. And it's not even about submitting. It's about recognizing and adhering to authority. Because even in that instance, this man, this judge is in a position of authority. And you acted a damn fool. Even in the height of my aggression in the military, I still knew when I met my superior officers or my bosses, I knew what to do. Yes, sir. Roger that, sir. Yes, ma'am. I knew what to do. So if we know what to do in certain instances, how come we don't know what to do in other instances? And I will submit to you, men, if a woman will not submit to the authority in like a courtroom, or I'd venture to guess she wouldn't do that for you either. Because see, in a courtroom, you can go to jail. I like choosing my clothes and choosing what I eat. Yeah, even the clerk in the video, yes. And that's another thing. I'm about to give it to you. I'm about to give y'all this for free. How many times women, and I can only speak for a Black woman because I am one, sometimes you can tell, and not just a woman, but you can tell about how a person, how they are by how they treat the lowest of these. What do I mean by that? How they treat the court clerk, how they treat the janitor, how they treat the receptionist, how they treat the cashier. How they talk to them. Because I'm saying one more again. I am going to venture a guess that even before they went out on their first date, he had some glimpses into the kind of woman she was. And if he stood her up, that might have been the reason. I don't know. But he had, because again, that kind of stuff, the display that we just saw, even without knowing that she had previous court cases, that kind of stuff can't be suppressed that well. It can't be suppressed that well. And this is something that happened in 2020. We are in 2022. We're in 2022. So again, men and women, we overlook some stuff. Now, y'all may say, well, TJ, Mr. Randolph got a glimpse into your inner bitchness when you were at the car rental place. One time and one time only. That was one time and one time only. But we had already had our first date, second date. We had been communicating. That was our first road trip together. One time only. I'm gonna drop the link one more time if somebody else want to come up and share their experiences. So, Sir Hale, I asked, for people who are in this dating realm, when you've made that initial contact, whether it be dating site or whatever, and even before you go on the first date, what is happening? I know what happened with me and Mr. Randolph. We had multiple conversations, multiple FaceTimes before we had our first date. No. But again, like I was just saying, I'm not sure when you came in, nephew, but getting in that realm of handling business, because I'm in the military, you say when in charge, take charge. So a lot of times, even if I wasn't in charge, I would take charge. And it's easy to do that if you ain't in the relationship to kind of counter that. But I had to learn to yield. Somebody said something to me, I don't, y'all see my gray? I'm wearing my hair. I cut it last night. I'm tired. Somebody said to me, one of my friends who've known me for, gosh, a good 20 plus years, she said that, oh, call in. I put the link in there. Let me put it again. Said that since I've cut my hair, you can see my face more. But she said also, you can see how the contentment and how my eyes light up and how joyful I am. Well, that part hasn't changed. You can just see it more because, I got the wig off. But that's what healthy interactions do for you. Me and Mr. Randolph have a healthy interaction even while we were dating and even now. Yeah, we've only been in this thing for 4 years, but the difference is we both learned some things. We've both been through our share of stuff. We both know what we want and what we don't want. We both set some boundaries. We both had some standards. And I asked earlier when I talked about part one, thank you. What standards do you all have? Men and women. I'm going to talk about men real quick because again, I know y'all visual. I know y'all visual, but I'm wondering, what was he thinking? What was he thinking when he saw her? Did he think about the fact that she has white hair or a white wig? Did he think about the fact, because again, with the glasses that have no lenses in them, did he think about, well, I wonder if this woman is, if she has class, style, grace, sophistication, dignity? Or was he looking at the fat ass? Was he looking at the boobs or her skinny waist? I'm wondering. What was he looking at? Yes. I wonder, what was he looking at? Oh, that. Hello, Niecy. What was he looking at? I'm wondering. Women. What are you looking at? If you're on these dating sites, if you decide that you even want to reach out or you want to respond, what are you looking at? I mean, we're all visual, at some point. But at some point, when is it more than that? I see Sir Hill in the house. What's up, nephew?
Auntie, first let me start off by saying you look absolutely dazzling.
Thank you.
Yep, my wife sends her love. She says, "Auntie, sharp." So I had to let you know. But I got questions, so I need your help. So a lot of guys, we miss signs. So from what I see, this lady, there is no way he could have missed all of these signs. This didn't just happen. So I got a question. I need some free advice. If I need to, send a check for consultation, I'll send. Just let me know the address. But how can men pick up on this early? Where, like I said, what she exhibited to me was it was almost sociopathic, right? It was way different. How can men pick up on things like this early?
I think it goes with asking questions. And some people say, well, you don't want to be in an interview. Why not? Now, let me put it to you like this. And I struggle with it because, again, interpersonal communication is not really hard for people in my age group and older. But it's some more of a challenge for younger because a lot of it is texting and DMing. Well, one of the things I would ask, and if my memory serves me correctly, when I was asking Mr. Randolph, when we were just talking, so what, we start with some light banter, like, where'd you go to school? Where are you from? And, we were talking about he was a truck driver because he wasn't home and I heard this noise and just let the conversation flow. And I said, well, when did you graduate from high school? And, tell me about the school and, so what are you looking for? Why are you on this site? And he told me, and I said, well, have you been married before? Well, yeah. Yeah, me too. I said, there's some things I learned from my experience. And even though we divorced, I wouldn't change it for anything because I learned a lot. I got the gift of my daughter. But I realized there's some things I could have done differently in the relationship. In just a regular conversation. And I was like, so what do you like to do? Oh, well, I don't do a lot of stuff, Well, I like to watch movies. I like really old school movies and stuff like that. So, I can just sit around the house and watch, Turner Classic Movies. What do you do in your free time?
Can I give guys free advice? Fellas, if you find a woman who likes R&B and likes to watch movies and marry her, these are the dopest women. I just had to put that public service announcement out there.
And it was funny because we didn't talk about, frivolous, shallow stuff like, cars, bags, trips, none of that. It's like, so what kind of movies you like? What kind of music you like? Oh, I like jazz. Oh, you like jazz? What's one of your favorite artists? Norman Brown. That's one of mine too. I took my mom to a concert when we were in Virginia, and we saw Will Downing and this, that, and the other. Oh, he's one of my favorite artists. I went to school with Wayman Tisdale. I mean, so we just conversations.
That is,
and we had multiple conversations.
So I ask you one more question. Since I'm here, I just got questions, Auntie. Okay. So, do you think, is it possible? Let's say a man vets. He goes through all the right things. I mean, he asks questions. Do for the sake of this conversation, do women flip? Like, is it possible that he did all the things and he checked off all the the boxes per se, and then it just flipped? It something happens and it turns out this way, or is who they are. That's really who they are. You just got to really find a way to get to that part to see who they really are before it escalates into something serious.
Well, I will say it's possible. And the reason why I say it's possible, because I've talked about, someone that they hid their true self from us for 5 years into their marriage before they showed their true colors. And they had the whole family hoodwinked. You understand me? So it's possible. Well, one of the things I've learned, Michael Franks. I'm sorry. I'm like squirrel. I love Michael Franks. But anyway, one of the things I've learned and I believe will be good, and I'm not sure how we will work it, but just like I said earlier, just like a man can peep game on another man, a woman can peep game on another woman. So I would think to possibly integrate a woman that you think highly of, sister, aunt, mom, somebody, best friend, and maybe not even meet the woman right off the bat, but hey, I'm talking to this girl and we were talking about this, that, and the other, and she said this. Well, what do you think about that? Run. Or, I met this girl online, she seems cute and everything, and she seems all right, but I want to send you a picture of her and tell me what you think. Because I'm going to tell you something. When I was dating Mr. Randolph, even before we went on our first official date, I had a picture of her. I had his phone number. I gave his information to my best friend, who's my sister, and had her look him up. Sure did. Because we didn't know each other at the time. He didn't know me. I didn't know him.
I'm with you 100% on that one. Absolutely.
Sure did. And I'll give you another one, even for you young heads. My 19-year-old niece is here visiting. I want y'all to hear this, man. This is good. I know, Sir Hill, you're going to love this. Well, she's 18. She's down here visiting, getting ready to go to college. She's staying with my daughter and son-in-law. Well, met this young man, wanted to take her out on a date. They did the same thing. Name, where you live, telephone number, license plate. He came to the house. My son-in-law interrogated him. So what are you going to do? What y'all doing? Where y'all going? That's how they used to do it.
That's exactly how it should still be going. I love that.
Had the young man telling my niece, I'm afraid of your cousin. Good. Good. Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. I think that explains it. And the reason I ask that is because I think we do it wrong in today's culture. Like, we pick somebody and we trust our eyes. And it's not to say that we can't trust ourselves, but having a couple of other eyes you trust that can see a little bit further can make a huge difference in a life, of relational bliss, or you being with somebody that makes your life a hot mess. It can make a world of difference.
And before you invest so much of your time, because I'm going to tell you something. Hey, Canadian born, because the guy that I dated that was in that bad situation, my dad has been on the show. My dad said that he peeped game early on. But I kind of got on and said, well, Dad, why didn't you say something? He said, because you weren't going to listen. So he knew his daughter, because again, I'm 49, 50 at the time. So it's not enough to even just say it. Ladies and gentlemen, if our people are telling us something, there's a reason they're telling us. Because they want us to be happy. They want us to be in healthy relationships. So if they see something and then we trust them that they love us, we might want to pay attention to that. Especially before we get so far in. And that's real. So in this particular case with this gentleman, I don't know. Because like I said, anything is possible. But she seemed too ignorant to have camouflaged it for that long. I'm just saying.
I'm with you. I'm like, she talked to the way she talked to the judge. I'm like, that can't be the first time this ain't the first time. She done this before. And she had no remorse, no chill, nothing in her said stop. I couldn't believe it. So, Auntie, I thank you for letting me come up here. You have helped me out tremendously. Thank you for answering my questions.
Absolutely. And Mill said, she said, having my brother bet the next, you exactly. And check it out. I'm the mama-in-law, but my son-in-law betted Mr. Randolph. It's funny to me, because my dad's in California, but my son-in-law was here. That was before they even got married. They were engaged, and Mr. Randolph took us all to dinner. Me, my daughter, and her fiance at the time. We went to dinner, had a nice dinner. And that was the first time Danielle and Kevon had met him. Took us out to a nice dinner, and all of a sudden, so Kevon said, "So, what are your intentions with my mother-in-law?" He sure did.
He was a wise guy. I like that.
He asked Mr. So, what are your intentions? And Mr. Randolph, said, "Well, I love her, and I'm gonna want to marry her." And then, fast forward a couple of months later, when he did meet my father came met in Houston. My father had a nice conversation with him. Next thing I know, he asked my father for my hand. My father comes back in with tears in his eyes. So yeah, that's what we do. Because I don't have any sons, but I have nephews, and I'll be all up in their business. What? Where's she from?
Auntie, I want to say this. We often say women don't pick well, but the truth is, Auntie, the truth is, a lot of men don't pick well either. And so we need women who can see, like women who can see stuff we can't see. So I love what you shared. I love how your family rose. Y'all are dope. Thanks for letting me up today. I really appreciate you, Auntie.
Absolutely. Give my best to the missus.
I sure will. Sure will.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Listen. No, I'm just talking about this woman who lost her mind about the date, and talking about Bishop T.D. Jakes. He's giving us some grow your real moments, and it's tight, but it's right. I'm gonna play it one more again. I'm gonna back it up. I'm gonna play it one more again because it's tight, but it's right. Let me go this way. Yeah, I like this one. Hold one, please. Oh, no, girl. I didn't take no offense to it. Absolutely. And I did the video last night. I got tired. I just start cutting. Just start cutting. I was tired.
This breaks all sociological orders of the culture we're living in now. Because we are raising up women to be men. And you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you are climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house. But until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away.
So we have that on the one hand. We have that on the one hand. And then we have the female who loses her mind in the courtroom on the other. He did say a mouthful. He absolutely did. And when I was listening to that, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm going to say this, and I want people to hear me. There is no way in the world that women and men intentionally set their daughters up for failure. There's not. I was talking to my aunt the other day. We were just talking about something else in general. My aunt will be 78 next month. And we were talking about the mistakes parents make. And she said the same thing that I had said. She said, there's no way that parents who truly love their children would intentionally set their children up for failure. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that they didn't give them the wrong advice. It didn't mean any of that, but there's no way they intended to do that. And I'm saying that to say this. There is no way, I refuse to believe that men and women raising daughters of my age and after, that they intended to set us up to be men, or that we would be to set our, put us on a path that we would be seen and as acting like men. I believe wholeheartedly they thought they were setting us up for success, that in the event that we were by ourselves, that we could sustain ourselves. I believe that. But does that mean it still didn't go awry? It surely did, because if it didn't, we would not be where we are. It surely did go awry. When we're talking about, like I said earlier, the women who have this problem with TD Jakes and, and don't like what he said or whatever, you don't have to, I didn't like a lot of stuff that Kevin said, don't mean it wasn't true. Well, you know what? He may be, but it don't mean that what he said ain't true. It don't mean it. It does not mean that because like I said, I didn't like a lot of stuff that Kevin said, but it don't mean it wasn't true. Because we are past the point that you have to be spotless before you can make an observation and a course correction. We're past that point. The only difference is we can see publicly the mistakes that some people make, as opposed to the private ones everybody else makes. Because it was one point I used to think, because my mother wasn't in a relationship or didn't have a successful marriage, that she couldn't tell me how to have one. Never considering the fact that because she didn't have a successful relationship, that she may have been trying to point me in the right direction so I could have one. Never considered that for a moment. I just felt like, how can she tell me she ain't even got one herself? Seriously. He's had his TD Jakes, the Creflo Dolls and all have had their share of pandering. But this right here, he right about that. He right about that. Because there was a time that I would buck up to a man. Partly because, no, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. Ms. Krev, I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about in generally speaking, because there are some women who really upset about this guy, what he said, really. And I'm not saying that he hasn't had some missteps, but what he's saying right here, he's absolutely right. And I can say that because I was one. I was one. Not necessarily to fist fight a man, but I definitely was going to, you ain't going to punk me. Because part of it was the military. Part of it was, being competitive in the federal government. And then you add that being single for years and years and years. Oh, I definitely became hardened. Definitely became hardened without even knowing it. But I can look back on it and say, ooh, yeah, I was like that. Ooh, I was like that. Yeah. 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 But you know what though? Here's the thing. You're absolutely right. We do what we can with our children, but they at the end they make their own decisions. For real. And I'm grateful now. I'm grateful now, truly, because again, I give all credit first to God. Secondly, to the wonderful man that is my daughter's husband. But I used to think like, I know I didn't teach her this. What the hell is going on? But they make their own decisions. Seriously. I'm like, I know I didn't show her this. What is this? But they make their own decisions. But I'm still gonna try to keep giving it to her, but now the only difference, she ain't got to take it now because she grown. I'll take that. Where you from? Where your people from? California, Louisiana, Oklahoma? Any of those three? Where your people from? So, we were talking about the vetting, and I was kind of role playing with Sir Hell Speaks. But again, oh gosh, I don't know about Alabama. But I know about Shreveport, California, and Oklahoma because we moved to Oklahoma. But I got a lot of red bones in my family from Louisiana. Could be. They got freckles too. Okay. We were talking about the vetting process, and I was doing the role playing with Sir Hell Speaks. When you're getting to know somebody, even when you start going out, before you go out on this first date, how is the conversation going? Are y'all talking about, light stuff, music, interest? Or is somebody talking about, well, I want to go to this steakhouse and I want to, this, and what kind of car you drive? And is that what we're talking about? Where you live at? Behind the preposition. And it's come full circle. It's come full circle, and that's why they, again, raise a child in which they will go, and when I'm paraphrasing, and when they're old, they won't depart from it. And so I say that to say, again, you pour into them, and eventually they'll come around because she has, and she did. I poured into her, and we go astray, but she came back around. And it's funny because I hear my mom talk about that too, even with her. Talking about my grandfather, the things that he poured into her. Yes, she went off astray, but because he poured it into her and she had something to go back to, a frame of reference. Let's see here. Ooh. Yeah, it's true. And check it out though. Yeah, that they grown, but she gonna still hear. Okay, I'm back. I was frozen. It says these girls today are making a talk. Yeah, talk about material things, their past, and sex on first dates, which is, see, you're absolutely right. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. And y'all want to talk about being an old head. Some of the old head stuff stands because Mr. Randolph. Am I back? Am I back? Dadgummit. Am I back? Put a 1 in the chat if I'm back. Am I back? Am I back? Am I back, y'all? Am I back, y'all? Let's see here. Am I back? Okay, thanks. Okay, I'm struggle streaming. So, did you see Sierra and her husband of hers arm wrestling with a sweet? Oh, I didn't see that. That's cute. That's cute. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link again because if somebody wants to talk to me about the dating and what should we be telling our young and old? Because I think T Shaw, either T Shaw or Miss Creative talked about how that they're talking about sex on the first date, talking about really superficial things on the first date. And again, you wonder why we having these problems. Are you trying to get to know people? I would like if someone would be so willing to come onto the stage and do another role play if you're in the dating market and tell me how you engage. I just want to know. Let's do a role play. Who's down for it? Who's down for the role play? To see, how are you even having the conversations even before you decide to have that first date, to determine if you even want to venture in. If you want to, because Mr. Randolph talked about one of the things that let him know that I was different is I wasn't talking about sex. I wasn't talking about that. And when we had our FaceTime, because he had his covers up, he was in the bed, and the first thing out of my mouth, are you decent? Because I wasn't having no dick pics, no titty pics, no none of that. None of that was popping off. I wasn't doing that. Oh, honey, I'm not either. I'm not either. If I was, I'm not either. I just knew, in it's trial and error. But a telltale sign, if you out the gate talking some inappropriate-ish on our first few conversations, and you're not even trying to get to know me, and their person not trying to get to know you, no. That's not about it. Because going back to the female who talked about who filed in the suit, this is a date that happened in 2020, talking about the emotional distress because he stood her up on the date that her mom passed. How would he know that? And I'm going to venture a guess, I'm going to say it again. Maybe he saw something into her character that said, I ain't going to meet her. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But this is a serious thing. And I talk about dating because, again, my niece is 18. And I shared with her, I said, listen, that might be the initial dialogue, but don't sit up in here and have no full conversations with young men on text or DM. Don't do that. And I'm telling her this at 18, but there are some 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s who do that. And y'all have so many more resources than we had in my day because all we had was the telephone and writing letters, meeting up here and there. Y'all can have virtual dates. Here's an idea for you. I want y'all to hear me on this one. Y'all can have virtual dates, men and women. You can, if you want to do a virtual date, you can Instacart something or DoorDash something to somebody, and y'all have a date over a video chat. I did. I'll go over it again. I talked about. I said he's spot on. I said he's spot on. I'll go ahead and play it one more again. I think he's spot on. And seriously though, I'm trying to help y'all. I'm trying to help you. Do a virtual date. I'm gonna take, and the reason why, because we did virtual baby showers. What do you mean by that, TJ? I'm glad you asked. Before I retired, I was an instructor, so we had people that was in Vermont, California, Dallas-Fort Worth area, and Minnesota. And one of our colleagues One of our colleagues was pregnant. Okay. So what we did, we had all the baby gifts sent to her house in California. And then we had cupcakes sent to all the different areas of our colleagues. And we had a meeting at that time, a virtual meeting, eating our cupcakes all at the same time while she was opening up her gifts. Do that same thing for a date. And I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm just going to throw this in for free for the ladies. A man would really like that. Men, am I wrong? Tell me something. Talk to me. Tell me something. Am I wrong? If a woman, you get a knock on the door, it's Uber Eats. I didn't order anything from Uber Eats. Oh, I know. Miss TJ sent this for you. And there's a note inside. Call into this Zoom link at this time. I'll wait. What do y'all think? I'm just saying. Would a man or a woman, would y'all be impressed by that? I would. There's a note in there. It says, Miss TJ said, this is a Zoom link. Call in at this time. And then when you call in, Miss TJ, she got the same food. And we're going to do a virtual toasting. I'm trying to help y'all, man. I'm trying to help y'all. I'm trying to help you. Exactly. Hashtag free game. I'm going to throw this one in for free too. Me and Mr. Randolph were dating, but we had gotten serious by this time. And I was out shopping. And I found this cute silver fortune cookie about this big. So he still had his place. And so I wrote a note in the fortune cookie and left it on his pillow. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you out. Hold on just a second. Let me share this link. We're going to talk about it one more again. TD Jakes. So let's see, that's the old school. See, y'all newfangled stuff. Y'all don't be knowing. Y'all need to be talking to your aunties, your daddies, your uncles, cousins, grandpas. You need to get creative. So let's talk about this. Let's go into this TGJ thing again.
This breaks all sociological order of the culture we're living in now. Because we are raising up women to be men. And you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you're climbing the corporate ladder.
Okay, check this out. He ain't wrong when he said we're applauded for being X, Y, and Z. Housewives, basketball wives, okay, hip hop, them things. Some other stuff. He ain't lying. And check this out though. You got the same type of behavior. Let's just take the housewives, for instance. Let's forget all the love and hip hop. Let's just talk about the housewives. You got the housewives of Orange County. You started with the housewives of Orange County. Then you got all these other ones. All these other ones doing the same type of foolishness, right? Same type of catfighting, right? Who gets the reputation of masculinity and aggression? ERT said even a 2-piece from Popeyes would be so great. I'm just saying, it ain't got. And I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all hear me and hear me well. If a woman or a man turns their nose up at the slightest thing, that's the simplest thing, that's a red flag too. Because see, again, what he said here, it means a woman is thinking about me. It is not about how grandiose it is. It's not about how grandiose, it's about the thought. Y'all heard Mr. Randolph say one of the things that let him know that I was the one is that when I invited him over to dinner, I had made him a home cooked meal. I'm not a cook. Some things I cook well, some things I don't. But I heard him say he liked beans and cornbread. I heard him say that he could eat beans and cornbread every day. Beans and cornbread was not something that I would cook for myself normally. But he said when I invited him over for dinner and I made him a home cooked meal, and he knew it was something that I would normally cook for myself. But I listened to him. So ERT is absolutely right. Beans and cornbread I made. So let me finish this here with TD Jakes. Okay, wait, hold up. Let me look at exactly. And we know he's not talking about all Black women. We know this. But here's the thing. I even talked about I was one of them and didn't even realize I was. I thought it was a good thing to be strong and independent. I thought that was a marketing tool. I thought it was a marketing. Hold on. There's more. Okay. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, beans and cornbread. Let's continue. Let me get my thing here. My mouse is tripping. Okay.
But we are losing our families. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house. But until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away. Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk back to me this morning.
Can you say hot as fish grease? Some people, can you say hot as fish grease? Some women are hot as fish grease. And he ain't wrong. Like I said, I thought when I was telling my man, I used an example earlier. I already had my own house, car, all this kind of stuff. I was a single mom. My daughter was in middle school. So obviously I was making it happen. And I remember a couple of times I would say to the man that I'm dating at the time, like, what do you want? He asked what I want for Mother's Day. I said, well, whatever you get me is fine. I said, I don't like to put those kind of requirements on people to feel like they have to get me X, Y, and Z, because if I want something bad enough, I'll just buy it myself. I thought that I was basically taking that person off the hook to feel obligated to buy me this, that, and the other. But essentially the message I was sending to that man was, well, she don't need me because she can get it anyway. Instead of just telling him what I wanted for my birthday. And either he could get it, because apparently he asked me for what I wanted, so he must have been prepared to get it for me. But me, again, please hit the like button. How many we got in here? How many we got in here? Please hit the like button. You know, I'll just be talking. But I thought that I was letting them off the hook, but I was really sending the message that I don't need you, because if I want it bad enough, I get it myself. I never said I don't need you. Never said it. But my actions were saying it. The lovely Lolita was up here earlier talking about how, you know, she raised her daughters primarily as a single parent, and she was so used to doing things her own way. She didn't allow herself to when she got into a good relationship, she didn't allow herself to trust the man to do certain things that he said he was going to do. So what she would do is, even though he said that he was going to do something, thank you. Even though he said he was going to do something, she didn't want to wait. She was kind of leery, so she went on and did it anyway. That is undermining. And we may not intend to undermine, but that's what we're doing. Okay, hold on. Okay. I know. And I was that way too. And I thought that I was helping, particularly as it relates to male-female relationship. But I didn't realize I was sending that message. And I think I shared that when this guy was dating. I think it was Mother's Day. And I asked him, I said, why do you always seem like you have such a hard time finding something to buy for me? And I said, I remember you talking about your ex-wife, and you didn't have any problem buying gifts for her. He said, well, yeah, it was easy to buy stuff for her because she didn't have anything, but you have everything. I had no idea that's how he felt. And I said, well, no, I don't have everything from you, though. But you see how even if you don't say it, sometimes unconsciously we're sending that message. Because I remember telling him that, I could care less if it was a picnic in the backyard. And I meant that. But that's not what he thought, because again, whatever I want to do, I could do it. So sometimes it's not whether you can do something, it's whether you should. And it goes back to what the other lady was talking about. No one is suggesting that we need to dull our shine. To me, I'm going to be honest, I shine bright. I've been shining brighter. And people who've known me for 30 plus years will tell you I'm shining brighter now under the covering of my husband than I ever did on my own. And I'm not ashamed to say, I need you, Mr. Randolph. When you coming home? I'll be ready. Okay. Seriously. And that's for real. So now, when my husband asks me what I want, I tell him. And here's another thing, ladies, for free. It's not about the money. It's about how you act with it. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. Because let's be real. If you've been on your own, 35, you're 35 and up, let's go 45. Let's go 40 and up. You probably got some stuff on your own. Depending on what kind of work you do, you may make more money than your counterpart. It's not about the money, it's how you act with it. I sit at home, retired, getting my retirement and my disability from the VA, and make a high 5 figures, almost 6 figures. My husband goes to work every day, high 5 figures, but technically I bring home more. Guess what? I don't act like it, because it's ours. It's ours. I defer to him for any major things that we're going to do in the house. any major things that I want to do outside of the house. Technically, I want to go visit my mom and want to go do some stuff. Normally there would have been a time I would just buy the ticket and say, I'm going here. No, because I got the money, right? No. Honey, this is what I want to do. Is it okay? Is this time good? It's not about dulling my shine. It's not about dumbing myself down. What man wants a dumb woman? What man wants a dumb woman? He can't show off no dumb woman. And I'm just going to be honest. Just about every man wants to be able to show off his woman. I'm just going to say it. If I'm lying, let me know in the chat. You understand me? Oh, girl, let me tell you something. Mr. Randolph loves a good card. Father's Day. And it's funny. Now, there are some men that might be high maintenance, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say most men aren't. They just want to know that you're thinking about them. If they want to know that you gave them some consideration. Father's Day. I got Mr. Randolph a mug and a beautiful card. And it was a card, a love letter. I wrote a card. I bought a blank card and I wrote a love letter in it. The coffee mug was a shout out to Courtney Michelle because I got the idea from her. Was a mug that I sent. I sent pictures of our grandchildren with him and our grandchildren. And it had different pictures of him and our grandchildren around the whole mug. And maybe one picture of he and I together. Those two things, you would have thought he hit the jackpot. Because I wanted him to be able to take that coffee mug out on the road with him so he would have his G babies with him and me. You would have thought he hit the jackpot. He kept looking at that daggone mug, kept reading the card and smiling. I'm just saying. And somebody wrote here, femininity goes a long way. Let me go back to it. Let me go back to this here. ERT says a little bit of femininity goes a long way. You will set yourself apart from 99% of the other women. And femininity is just not what you're wearing. It's not just your hairstyle. It's just not your lashes. It's just not your fingernails. Because check this out. You see, I ain't got no nails. My lashes are mascaraed. Femininity is some smiling. It's not necessarily being, that you don't have a mind. It's not that you can't think for yourself. It's about just letting loose, letting it go. Even though that you have an opinion, it's not necessarily everybody knows it. My mother told me this, and this is my mom who raised me primarily as a single mom. And my mom, my mom is OG. Her grandkids think she's the most gangster. But my mom said to me, she said, everybody don't need to know how smart you are. Everybody don't need to know what you're thinking. Because see, part of that thing that TD Jakes is talking about, as far as we women, we want everybody to know how smart we are. And we want everybody to know our opinion, whether they ask for it or not. You're going to know what I got to say about that. If I'm wrong, let me know in the chat. If you tell me or show me that you don't. Okay, look, I got another example for y'all. Y'all need to hear me, ladies. For all my women are independent. Throw your hands up at me. Okay, so check this out. I done told y'all this once before. It took me a while to get a hold of it. How many times have you gone to the store Or somebody asks you, can I help you with that? A man asks, can I help you with that? Oh, no, I got it. Or you're trying to lift something that might be a little bit too heavy. A man comes in, let me help you. Oh, no, I got it. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to let you have it. So that's what he's talking about here. That's what that comment was. They're going to let you have it. Or you're out and the man wants to pump your gas for you with the guy. Let me pump your gas. Oh, no, I got it. Some of y'all wouldn't even know how to act if a gentleman presented himself to you. And I'm not speaking to you in condescension because I did it. Oh, I got it. I can tell you several times I was moving because in the military, you move. Had movers come get the heavy stuff. But sometimes, I'd be helping them. I'm still in the Army, so I got my muscles and everything. Miss Jones, no, I got it. Didn't know I could have messed up my blessing because I got it. Want to show him how strong I am. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. As opposed to saying, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I done learned. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. Even today, I'm happily married. Took Junior to get his grooming. Just as pleasant with the folk. Just as pleasant with the young man. Laughing. Don't cut my son too low. Just conversation. Just conversation. Hey, thank you so much for what you did. Appreciate you. When I went to go pick him up, I'm like, you look tired. And then just start talking. You look tired. Oh, ma'am, yes, but somebody didn't come in to work there. I've been work. I said, well, don't work too hard now. Some of y'all wouldn't even know how to have a casual conversation. If I'm wrong, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Oh, RM says, repeat after me. Oh, thanks ever so much, sir. Absolutely. Practice it, ladies. Or when you're out on a date, the man wants to come and open up your door, but you done opened it up already. Boy, stop the madness. And I'm not saying that I've gotten it all together because I still have to catch myself sometimes from grabbing that door. Because for so many years, I've been grabbing it. So when TD Jakes is saying, I don't want to hear, I know you can do all this. And I'm going to tell you something, ladies. By the time you get 40 plus, it's expected that you would have done something, amassed something. But it's not what you have, it's how you're handling it and how you're wielding it. Because I said, I need my pool. And there was a time, even though Mr. Randolph said we'll get it next year, I would have been orchestrating stuff. And by the time he got home, I would have had the contractors on deck. And didn't think I had done nothing wrong because we can afford it. That ain't the point. The point is Mr. Randolph said we're doing it next year. Yeah. Some women think all men are trying to, yeah. And when and this is true. And I'm not going to say that there are some men, because we know it to be true. Some men don't take hints. But I will venture to guess you can turn down somebody nicely. I've done it, even since I've been married. Oh, I really appreciate that compliment, but I'm really happily married. Thank you so much. Well, we can be friends. No, I really don't have friends apart from my husband. Male friends. Thank you, though. I know there's somebody out there for you, but thank you. I appreciate it. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you something. Even before I was married, and if I wasn't dating someone, and I knew that I wasn't interested, but I didn't want to just come off nasty. I said, I really appreciate it, but I'm really in a relationship right now. Thank you so much. I appreciate the compliment. Because nobody wants to have their feelings hurt. Nobody wants to, and rejection it hurts. But it's not the what, it's the how. So if I knew I wasn't interested, I would say, I really thank you so much. And I would be blushed. I said, oh, that's so sweet. I'm in a relationship though. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me look at some comments here. Saying thanks. Leaving. Yes. Yes. And smile that's feminine. And even giggle a little bit. Thank you so much. No, my husband's the killer. Oh, Lord. I just say, no, my husband's the killer with lots of lead. Ooh, girl, you crazy. Yes. And unless somebody is just unless the guy is just flat out ignorant, because I'm gonna tell you something, even some pookies, straight up from prison, whatever. If you nice when you turn down, say, thank you so much. Because I've done it. And they still might try to put, I know, I'm sorry, thank you so much. But I just don't have friends apart from my husband. But thank you, I really appreciate it. I mean, seriously. Yeah. It ain't hard. So we far as this thing about what we gotta take that L. And again, if it don't apply to us, then then let it go. But I have to look back on myself. I was kind of mean. That was kind of mean. I was kind of mean. It cost my sanity to be, girl, a smile and a fast step. Smiling while you talk. Thank you so much. And while thank you so. I've done it. Now, like I said, unless somebody just stone cold psycho, and we know there's some. There's some. There's some. But it ain't everybody. But we know there are some crazy folk. There are some. But I'm willing, the majority ain't or aren't. The majority aren't. But I tell you, a smile. Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. And like I said, even when I wasn't in a relationship, if I knew I wasn't vibing, I was in a relationship. Or I was married. And sometimes we'll wear a fake ring just for extra added value. Oh, my left hand. Sometimes. If I had it on my right, I move it to my left. They don't know you. They don't know if you're lying or not. But you're being gracious in your turning down. And you're not just saying you're weird. or you're ugly, you just say, oh, thank you. I'm in a relationship though, or I'm married. Oh, okay. So that's all. I appreciate y'all coming to holler at me. But again, this is a couple of lessons we want to talk about today. We have to take that L far as overall us being mean, and because we are reward. And it's funny because even Iyanla Vanzant said, she said the different words, but she said we're rewarded for our bad behavior, i.e., the housewives, basketball wives, and all the others. We're rewarded for our bad behavior. And then we are surprised, because I know I was surprised when everybody is painted with the same brush. When I was in the workforce and they said, she walks around like she's mad. How does that look exactly? So the question becomes, what can we do to help ourselves? And also, even particularly going back to how I started with the woman who had the unmitigated, as my English teacher used to say, she says the nerve, the audacity, and the unmitigated gall to sue a guy for a bad date. So what have we learned? We're going to engage in substantive, plentiful conversations prior to the first date to get a vibe. Ask them, probing questions. So what do you like to do? Tell me all about yourself. Where are you from? What kind of music you like? Just what kind of food you like? What would be your, what would you like? What would you think a good first date? You'll get a lot with that answer. Because if you ask a female, I can only speak, what a good first date be for you? What would you think a good first date would be? You'll learn a lot from that answer. You'll learn a lot from that answer. Ellen over at We Need to Talk says that the oppressors gain from our, and we do it to ourselves unbeknownst. I'm trying to help you. But you get a lot from that answer. Well, what would you think a good first date would be? Yeah, it used to mean, your reputation used to mean something. Absolutely. T didn't need to charge for And see, if you ask a lady what you think a good first date would be, and she comes out with some foolishness about the most expensive restaurant you can find, this, that, and the third, as y'all say, move around. Move around. Mm-hmm. Because when me and Mr. Randolph were planning our first date, forget me. I'll use my daughter and son-in-law. Their first date, because you heard Danielle talk about how they met or whatever, and they were living in the same house, but they weren't, dating. But he happened to have a conversation with her and found out that she had never had chicken fried steak or something like that. And he was like, how you never had chicken fried steak? And they started having a conversation. So he took her to a chicken fried steak place to get that. That was their official first date. Now, she could have played herself as, I don't want to go there. But it wasn't about the place. It was about getting to know him. Because they done been to some nice restaurants. They didn't even hit me and Mr. Randolph to some places we ain't even been to yet. But has she played herself like, this dude took me to a chain restaurant? She wouldn't be Mrs. Jordan. I'm just saying. Her husband had a first date at the park. Exactly. Y'all know what put a blank blanket with have a little picnic basket. I used to do that. Music. And if a woman turns her nose up at that, move around. Move around. Because again, it that lets you know it's about the stuff and not about you. It's about the accoutrement instead of being about you. Women, if you are trying to go out and get to know a man and he's talking about your body all the time, nothing substantive other than this, note to self, move around. But you got to make sure that you're giving more than just this. You got to make sure that you're giving more of this and, than this. Move around. And then if they ask you a question, why, then you tell them why. If you feel so inclined. But save yourself the time and aggravation. Because again, Mr. Randolph, we talked about, I don't have plenty of, oh Lord, chaotic truth. Don't come up in here disrupting stuff. What you got, young man?
I saw something the other day, and salute to you. I saw something the other day, and I have been going to different panels to talk about this. And people are going to say, well, what does this have to do with anything chaotic? And I'm going to tell you why. We should be, well, you could talk about whatever you want to talk about, but we should be talking about, give me 1 second. I'm on a panel. Give me 1 second. Okay. Shauna, give me 1 second. Okay.
You double tasking?
Yeah, I know. We should be talking about the image that was captured by the Webb telescope. The Webb telescope is the future of, in terms of telescopes, it's certainly doing the job of the Hubble Space Telescope by breakfast. That the Hubble, it's better than the Hubble Space Telescope. But a few weeks ago, it captured an image the size of a grain of sand, and in this image was thousands of galaxies. Thousands. The telescope had been pointing at a region of space for months, and it finally picked up an image. Now, just think about this. The images that we see, the light that we see from the galaxies have been emitting for billions of years. So those galaxies may not even exist because we are just seeing the light now. So that light has been traveling for billions of years. Think about the civilizations. Think about the spatial anomalies that have, or that are in those galaxies. So we are in the Milky Way galaxy. Our galaxy has.
Hold on. Are you going to bring this full circle? Because
I am.
What does it have to do with the conversation we're having?
I'm about to bring it full circle. Give me a second.
Okay.
So in our own galaxy, which is the Milky Way galaxy, we have billions and billions and billions of stars. Our sun is one of those billions. And think about the other stars that have planets orbiting those stars. Now, in that image from the Webb telescope, there were thousands of galaxies. And in each of those galaxies are billions and billions and billions of stars. Think about the potential that there is life in all of those galaxies, advanced civilizations. So to bring this full circle, every topic we talk about, whether it's relationships, money, I see that you were in the military, which is behind you. I didn't know that. And thank you so much for providing for my freedoms. Everything that we know of as human beings is insignificant. That image right there lets me know that we are insignificant in the grand scheme of the universe. And there's beauty in knowing that. The beauty in knowing that is that we as man, I don't know what you believe in, TJ, but I certainly believe, yeah, that's fine. But I certainly believe that I am an ape. Now, whether God created me or not, or science or evolution, but I know that I am an ape. Hell, some of us even look like chimpanzees.
Is that why you pledge alpha?
Of course, that's why. So the thing of the matter is that image right there should be talked about on YouTube. I think I'm going to do a live stream about it. It's a profound image, and it lets me know, as a little ape living on this floating rock in infinity, that there are wonders and mysteries out there in the universe that have yet to be discovered and explored. That I know nothing, and that I will know absolutely nothing, because the universe is infinite, and that there are things that I would never know about. That image is a powerful image, and it has everything to do with your topic of discussion. I don't even know what your topic is.
Bring it home.
But what I'm saying is that whatever you're talking about, TJ, respectfully, is insignificant when you look at that beautiful picture. That's what I wanted to say from the beginning. Go ahead. You got the floor.
Well, I will concede that in the grand scheme of things, it absolutely is insignificant.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about the lady,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
as well as TD Jakes,
yeah,
is because in as much as we are all insignificant, while we are here, we want, hopefully, we want to have the things that we say we want. If we want to have healthy relationships, we want to have healthy families. If we want to get back to, somewhat traditional roles, we're not going to be able to go all the way back there, but some of the things that we can just learn. So in as much, we know that we are just but a speck.
Yeah.
But while we're here, what kind of life do we want to have? What kind of experience do we want to have? Do we want to sit around here complaining as a woman, complaining about what I don't have and why, not realizing that I may be contributing to why I don't have it?
Yeah.
Or for however much time I have left, do I want to make the strides to have the things that I may not have had in my earlier years, but I can have now, but also use those things to help somebody else so maybe they can get it. So maybe they can get it. Because it is insignificant. When I'm gone, people are gonna leave. But what did I do while I was here?
Yeah.
Was I able to help somebody to learn from the stuff that I did wrong so they could get it right? Was I able to share with them the things that my daughter didn't learn from me so she could get married in her 20s and have a family by the age of 30? What did I show my daughter that, it's good to have a work ethic, but don't be so hard in your work ethic and that you are taking on the role of a man without even realizing that you are. When you think that you're helping a man by telling him that, I don't need you to buy this for me because I want to buy it for myself, not realizing, even though I'm not saying I don't need you, I'm showing you that I don't.
Yeah. So to bring myself down to your human level, basically, please. There is a woman who is demanding that she should be paid to go on a date.
For a bad first date.
Okay. Now, how old is this woman?
I have no idea. This is circulating all over YouTube. I just had to get in on it. I'm assuming she might be in her 30s or something like that.
That's not good. That's not good.
You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't. I don't watch TV. I don't know anything about.
No, this is on YouTube. This has been on YouTube. The woman is suing a man for $10,000 for a bad first date.
Yeah. Well, here goes the thing. Any woman in her 30s should never sue a man for a bad date. The fact that a man is willing to date a woman that is in her 30s and who is single, she should be happy in that she should be happy because that man could have easily gone to a junior college and picked up a 19-year-old girl who is smoking hotter. And this is the problem in today's day and age, TJ, and respectfully. I have seen this and it is getting bad. Women are leading with their degrees now. Women are leading with their careers. And to be completely honest with you, it is very, very off-putting. It is very, it's not cute when a woman talks about her career. I've dated plenty of girls, well, not, women, of course, in the past, and they will go on and on about their little job, their little degree. And God forbid they are a part of the Divine Nine. And I will tell them, sweetheart, you listen, shut up. Nobody cares about your accolades. That is not why we are here. You listen, what would make me happy? If your hands are wrinkled from washing dishes. But seriously though, TJ, that's what is attractive to most men.
I know. But,
And
hold
yeah.
on. So
Go
you
ahead.
came in on the latter part of this.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
had been saying all of that, and it's so funny because we don't know that. And that's why these conversations are important, because early on, I was leading with the same things, thinking that those were marketable items, and that was not. Even still, I talked about, even in my online profile when I met my husband, I had all these things written down. First of all, my profile was too long,
Yeah.
they told me. But I had all these things that I thought would be appealing to him
Yeah.
or appealing to a man, because I'm thinking through the mind of a woman what's appealing to a woman.
Yeah.
Not the
Yeah.
same thing. But I did not know that in my
Yeah.
20s, 30s, and even 40s. So that's another
Oh, so
reason
you're
why
recently married. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I've only been married we've been
Yeah.
together for 4 years, married for 3.
Okay. Well, yeah, and I'm glad that you came to that realization, and I think that your platform allows you to definitely mentor, especially younger females. Again, there's nothing more beautiful than a woman holding a mop. There's nothing more beautiful than a woman that is preparing a meal for her family. And these are the things that I gotta say this, black and especially black and white women need to go back to. This culture of I'm gonna sue him, this a bad date, blah blah blah. That woman's gonna be a cat lady, because who in their right mind as a man wants to put up with a 30-year-old, 35-year-old woman who's not satisfied about a damn date? That's absurd.
Well, first of all, that's wrong on so many levels. Who's going to sue for a date anyway, no matter how old you are? That's
Yeah.
the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my
Yeah.
life. The bottom line is people don't know how to deal with rejection. And that's the bottom line, period.
Yeah.
Get over it. I've been rejected.
Yeah.
Men have been rejected. There are guys I like, they didn't like me, vice versa. It happens.
Now, RM is in the chat. I don't know if that's Ebonics or Patois. I don't know. What is that? That's
What are you asking?
Hun, I grew up on Mage and Pomeranian.
No. See. Allow me to
What is that?
translate.
Okay.
She says, I grew up on Madge and the Palmolive commercials. So you too young to know about Madge and the Palmolive commercials.
Yeah.
Do you know about Madge and the Palmolive commercials?
I've heard of Palmolive. Yes, it's like a dishwashing soap.
That's because Madge was the one washing the dishes and washing her hands with Palmolive.
Now, was Madge a black woman or a white woman?
No, she was a white woman.
Okay, a white woman.
Okay, that was in the commercials.
Now, do you have any children, by the way?
I have a daughter.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
I have a daughter. She's 28.
Oh, okay. Is she a Delta?
28. No, she's not. Couldn't get her to do it.
Okay.
But my son-in-law is a Sigma, part of the Divine Nine.
Ooh, Sigma. Ooh, yeah. Wow, that sucks.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on now. I mean, what the Sigmas only would have Emmett Smith. Nevertheless,
we're not going there.
Nevertheless, now did you pledge at HBCU or PWI?
I pledged at the PWI, the University of Oklahoma, where your godfather went to school.
Oh, so you knew him?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
High school and college.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah.
I will tell you the chapter I crossed at, but I have a lot of people who are trying to dox me. But, yeah. I
Did you play
crossed it
the
up
HBCU or
PWI. I
Okay.
pledged at a PWI. Solo
Yeah, I went to
dolo.
University of Oklahoma or Boomer Sooner.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and wrap. But thank you for coming on, and you
Thank
were
you so
not
much for
that
having me.
chaotic.
No, of course not. No, you're in the divine nine. I'm not gonna be an asshole to you. RM says, CT, I post your info on every panel you are on. Be the kindness you receive, sir. Absolutely. Before I leave, TJ, I have to give a word of advice to the women in your chat, particularly young women.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up a mop. Prepare dinner. Talk less. Listen more. And you will get a man. And you will keep that man. Don't lead with your bachelor, your baccalaureate, your master, and God forbid, don't mention a PhD. Those things are turnoffs. But what is a turn on is a simple question. Honey, what would you like to eat tonight?
No lies told.
Right. And not saying, oh, I'm going to order something. Cooking for your man is key. Those things are key. And those things will definitely keep a man around. Thank you so much, TJ. I'm out of here. Thank you so much. 06. Peace.
1913, baby.
Absolutely. Peace.
Oh, it's funny. Okay. Thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. This has been fun. I really appreciate it. So hopefully, share this with some of you young women and old heads. We're all learning here. And there's always room for improvement, because the nicest thing Mr. Randolph says to me is, I can't wait to get home to you. That's what's up. I love to hear it. That's what's up. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. It's been fun. I'm going to get me some chow. That's food. Okay. So until next time, ciao for now.